Perfect. Okay, let's start. Good morning or good evening to all, and welcome to the Data-Driven Community virtual meeting. Let's start with a few words about the Data-Driven Community. For more information, simply check the community website. I will add the link in the chat in a few minutes. When you will scroll down the main page a bit, then you can notice the community upcoming event. On the left side of the page, you can notice the information about the future data-driven summit. This is an annual joint conference which we are the leading with multiple data platform user groups as partners. This year, the conference is over, so let's focus on the right side of the page now. The second branch of activity we run are the weekly meetings of the like today. And here you can follow about the next weekly meeting. And we have a great meeting next week as well. You are more than welcome to contact any of the community board. And before I continue, I will mute everyone because I see that there are noises. So everyone, please mute yourself as well. We will give an open table. Everyone will be able to chat at the end of the session. One second, I will disable the microphone. Awesome. Okay, so let's continue. I started to present the board of the community. You're more than welcome to contact any of the community board. We have John Joseph, who is the founder and co-administrator of the community, which, by the way, you can find him here in the meeting as well. I noticed that he joined us. We have Defti Gori, who is moderator and event organizer. And myself, my name is Ronen Arieli. I'm from Israel, working as a senior consultant in the field of data platform and architect of enterprise level system. And today, I will be the hosting of this meeting. I'm the second co-administrator of the community, and together we are here to help and serve the data platform community. During the meeting today, please feel free to use the chat for questions and discussions as well. This is a user group meeting. It's not a conference and not strict with the time to exactly end in 1 minute. So feel free to discuss, speak between yourself, help others if there is questions, and what we need, we will raise to the speaker. You are also welcome to use reaction. This is something that I like a lot in Teams. It does not interfere with the course of the meeting. If you hear something that you love, like, or you just want to clap hands virtually, then feel free to do so. I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker for today, Rajesh. I think that I pronounced the name correctly, Vayyala. Rajesh is a principal data architect with expertise in big data, focusing on data governance, data management, and cloud technologies. So, Rajesh, you are more than welcome to share your screen and take it from here and add a few words about yourself as well.
Sure. Good morning. Good afternoon. Thank you, Ronan, for the introduction. Thank you all for joining me today. Today, I will show how the Medallion Architecture patterns can be implemented on Microsoft Fabric, landing raw data once in Lakehouse or in one lake and standardizing it in Silver and modeling it in for BI or AI in Gold layer. In the end, we'll have a demo. So before we dive in, a quick intro. I'm Rajesh Vayyala, Principal Data Architect at a global data recovery company, where I led cloud data warehouse modernization on Microsoft Fabric. I have spent 10 plus years across different industries like finance, marketing, logistics, and nonprofits, specializing in enterprise data modeling and governance, and building cloud native data platforms to enable reporting, analytics, and AI-ready use cases. I'm also active in industry forums, editorial boards, and technical conferences. So my focus is to bringing data architecture with business strategy and making it scale in the real world. So here is a quick agenda. So first, I will introduce about the Microsoft core components, and then we'll look into the Medallion architecture and any ingestion or processing options. And we'll wrap up in the end with Q&A. So what is Microsoft Fabric and what are some of the key components and features? So as you all know, like I don't know about my audience, right? So some people might be beginners and some might be technically experts. So I'll just start it from a beginner level and then we can go into the expertise. So Microsoft Fabric is an end-to-end analytical and data platform designed for enterprises that require a unified solution. It basically encompasses like the data movement, processing, ingestion, transformation, real-time event routing, and report building. It offers a comprehensive suite of services, including data engineering, data factory, data science, real-time analytics, data warehouse, and databases and business intelligence. In simple words, if I need to tell, Microsoft Fabric is a comprehensive data analytics platform designed to meet the diverse needs of modern enterprises. So the purpose of Fabric is simplicity. The Fabric primary goal is simplicity. It allows organizations to integrate data from multiple sources into single environment, enabling data professionals to concentrate on results rather than juggling between different technologies. So this approach streamlines licensing and interaction among different Azure tools like Synapse, Azure Data Factory, and Power BI. If you look at some of the key components and features, it's a unified SaaS foundation, So Fabric is built on SaaS model, integrating both new and existing components from Power BI, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, and other services into a cohesive environment. Integrated workloads, so we have like Fabric brings together various workloads, including data engineering, data factory, data science, data warehouse, real-time intelligence, and Power BI into shared SaaS foundation. So each workload is tailored for specific user roles and tasks, ensuring a seamless experience for data engineers, scientists, and warehousing professionals. So the One Lake Data Hub, so Fabric's One Lake Data Hub serves as a centralized repository for all organization data. It eliminates data silos and simplifies data discovery, data sharing, and data governance. One Lake is built on Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 and provides a single SaaS experience for both professionals and citizen developers. It is also the real-time hub is a foundational component for managing data in motion. It provides a unified view of all real-time data streams from various sources, enabling users to discover, ingest, manage, and consume data in motion for streaming applications. In addition, Fabric seamlessly integrates AI capabilities throughout the platform, accelerating the data journey and enabling users to derive actionable insights from raw data. And Fabric also offers a wide range of analytical experiences tailored to specific personas and tasks. These experiences include Power BI for data visualization and reporting, Data Factory for data integration, Data Activator for real-time data monitoring and actions, industry solutions for industry-specific needs, real-time intelligence for event-driven scenarios, and Synapse data warehousing. And Fabric reduces resource wastage by allowing the purchase of single compute pool for all workloads, significantly reducing cost and resource management complexity. So what it is and why it exists, this is about the one lake, So one lake is the single logical data lake for your entire organization. It automatically provisioned with every Fabric tenant, you don't stand up storage accounts or wide subscriptions. The lake is there by default. So teams work inside workspaces and domains rather than infrastructure objects. So the SaaS instance is key. Governance boundaries mapped to the tenant and capacities mapped to regions or workspaces. The one lake runs on ADLS Gen 2 and Fabric writes tabular data into the Delta Parquet format, which gives you the ACID transactions, schema evaluation, and time travel. So one copy of data can be queried directly by multiple engines like T-SQL in the warehouse, Apache Spark in the lakehouse, and Power BI via Direct Lake without staging or exporting. So this removes the classic remodel or recopy and avoid semantic drift between systems. So to eliminate silos across business groups, OneLake supports shortcuts, which is lightweight pointers that make external folders other than OneLake areas like ADLS Gen 2, Amazon S3, even data wars appear inside your lakehouse as if they were local. So shortcuts behave like symbolic links. They don't duplicate data. Um, and they can be created interactively or via API. And you can use them to switch or you can use them to stitch the domain data products together with no copy, And the one like catalog, also called as like data hub, gives consumers a single place to find, explore, and govern data items with explore and govern tabs. This will support the endorsements or the lineage, and also you can look at the insights combined with tenant or workspace scoping. This helps data discovery and policy in the flow of daily work rather than in a separate tool. And OneLake also supports ADLS Gen 2 APIs for SDKs. So existing tools and platforms like Azure Databricks, Storage Explorer can connect. So there is also a OneLake File Explorer for Windows. Think of like OneDrive for data, so even non-technical users can browse and manage files with a familiar UX. Um, if I would like to say, one tenant and one lake removes infra friction and centralized governance, and one copy and many engines, so it explains performance and consistency benefits, so and the shortcuts or copies so shows how you federate domains without breaking lineage or security. Not last but not least, the cataloging and governance reassures the leadership about data discoverability and compliance, And why is it why the one lake is important is it eliminate the data silos, and one lake break down like the data silos that often arise when developers create isolated storage accounts. So now by providing a unified storage system, it ensures easy data discovery, sharing, and consistent enforcement of policies and security. And it also simplifies data management because it is storing the data under the hood. And then we have a hierarchical structure, like where one lake organizes data into a hierarchical structure with the tenant at the root, followed by workspaces, which are like folders, and then lake houses, which are like collection of files, folders, and tables. So this structure simplifies data management and allows developers and business units to create their own workspaces for collaboration. And all Microsoft Fabric compute experiences are pre-wired to OneLake, making it the native store of data engineering, data warehousing. And as I mentioned earlier, it integrates with the existing storage, and also the shortcuts can enable the cross-cloud collaboration. So here's a high-level fabric landscape, So someone is new, and if they're new to this terminology, it's good to go over to understand the key terms, So the first one, what we call is the tenant, which is at the root level. So think of this as your organization's dedicated fabric space, linked to your Microsoft Entra ID, formerly like which is the Azure Active Directory. So it is a top level container for all your fabric assets. And the next one is capacity. So this is the engine that powers your fabric experience. It's a set of resources that determine how much you can do and how fast you can do it. Fabric offers different capacity options, including trials and paid SKUs to suit your needs. So you can have multiple capacity licenses, but the tenant will be one for the entire organization or for the domain. And then it comes to the workspace. So you can imagine this like a collaborative project folder within your tenant. It's where you and your team create, edit, and organize your fabric items. Using this allocated capacity, you can assign one capacity license to multiple workspaces. The next one is item. This is a building block of your fabric objects. It could be a report, a data set, a notebook, or any other asset you create within a specific experience. And then there is this experience, which is a collection of capabilities designed for a particular function. For instance, the data engineering experience offer tools for building data pipelines, while the Power BI experience focus on data visualization and reporting. Last but not least, we have Lakehouse. This is a special type of item within the data engineering experience. It's like a database built on top of your data lake. Now one lake, allowing you to organize and analyze large volumes of structured and unstructured data. So what is Medallion architecture? Before we get into the Medallion architecture, so I would like to talk about the legacy architecture and the modern architecture. In the legacy architecture, or the legacy systems, which is on the left side of the picture, where the legacy data warehouses were built for control. However, if you look at on the right side, today's platforms, the cloud platforms are built for change, So with cloud native solutions, you have decoupled compute and storage, and you do ELT, and we have entered a more flexible era, right? But the legacy systems are more tightly coupled, static, and brittle. They have like these huge monolithic ETL pipelines, rigid schemas, limited scalability, and any schema change or business logic update can break down multiple downstream reports. And most of the ETL are batch based, which have like a significant delays in insights by hours or even days. The legacy systems used custom SQL scripts and ETL tools, and they are often owned by IT teams. So if anyone from a non-IT want to access the data, it's like a nightmare to get access to that. And the legacy systems are built for limited scalability. Whereas if you look at the modern architecture, it's more layered, modular, and cloud native. The modern architecture, especially the Medallion architecture, it separates the raw layer, the bronze layer, and then the silver and the gold layer data. It's decoupled for compute and storage, and elasticity and scalability are on demand. It supports real-time and batch ingestion and integrates with AI ML pipelines. You can use modern stacks like Spark, Delta Lake, notebooks, and semantic models. And the data engineers or the data scientists, they can collaborate and work in the shared environments. And the modern platform democratize access with governance. And the business team can self-serve the data, and the modern architecture is designed for adaptability, speed, and AI readiness. So now let's talk about the Medallion architecture. So the Medallion architecture is a lakehouse database or data design pattern that organizes data in three progressive layers. The first one is a bronze one, which is the raw layer. The second one is the silver, which is the validated, and the third one is the enriched or curated. So each company have their own terminology. Either way, whether we talk about raw, standardized, and refined data layers, or bronze, silver, and gold, we are talking about the Medallion architecture. The idea is to improve the quality step by step as data flows forward. So each layer has a clear purpose and contract. So in bronze layer, we land rough facts exactly as they arrive, like files, streams, or CDC, to preserve the lineage and provenience. So nothing critical is thrown away here. This is our immutable record. Whereas in the silver is where we do the transformation, like where we standardize and validate the data, and we think about schema, enforcement, type fixes, deduplication, identity resolution, and business keys. So this is where the data becomes reliable and analysis ready for broad reuse across teams. In gold, we model for consumption, where we create the star schemas, the aggregates, and feature tables optimized for analytics and ML. This is what is for like business intelligence users and data scientists should touch by default. So why it matters? By moving data through these layers, we get ACID guarantees on the transforms, repeatability if upstream data changes, and a much more simpler debugging. You can trace an issue back from gold to silver to bronze without any guesswork. It also reduces chaos. So a shade silver layer avoids duplicated logic across teams, and the gold layer keeps performance high with fit for purpose shapes. So it is a pattern. It is not a mandate. You can adopt the number of tables or add sub layers if needed. And it's sometimes called multi-hop because data hops through layers, getting better each time. And the bottom line is the Medallion architecture organizes your lakehouse into a structured and a trusted data product. It's easy to garn, easy to fast to use, and ready for BIML. So now let's look at what some of the benefits of organizing the data with Medallion architecture. So the first one is quality and trust. So we deliberately keep raw data into bronze, so the provenance is never lost. We then clean and standardize in silver by implementing the types, dedupes, and business keys. So by the time data reaches gold, it is business ready and explainable. And the second one is stepwise refinement, which makes debugging and testing far easier. If a metric looks off, we can check gold logic, then silver confidence, then fall back to bronze. Each layer has a clear contract, so issues are isolated quickly. The third one is reusability and consistency. This shared silver layer acts like a trusted foundation. So multiple teams can reuse the same conformed entities like customer, account, product without rebuilding the same transformation, which will eliminate the deduplication, the duplication and drift. The fourth one is scalability. So when we onboard new sources, we land them in bronze and extend silver mappings without breaking the downstream. So gold models and reports keep working because their input, which is the conformed entities, they're going to remain stable. Then we have governance and traceability. So separating raw, standardized, and curated layers provides clear lineage for audits. The policies, classifications, and approval can be applied at the right stage, which simplifies the compliance and the sign-offs. Then we have performance. So the gold delivers optimized curated data sets. So analytics and ML run faster with smaller joins and fewer wide scans. We keep heavy lifting upstream and serve thin purpose built artifacts to consumers. Last but not least, the collaboration, right? So now the engineers own the landing and the conference in bronze and silver layer, whereas the analyst and the data scientists work confidently off the trusted gold layer. And everyone moves faster because responsibilities are clear and the data is reliable and changes propagate predictability through the layers. So the core benefit is to eliminate the chaos to clarity with the trustworthy data products that scale. So I already touched based about each layer, but just a high level, so this is like a progressive refinement pipeline, right? So in each layer, we have what type of data that we can ingest, and what type of checks that we can do, and whether it's going to be like a file or a table, or a API or a event stream data. So for the bronze layer, we ingest exactly as is from any source. It's append only and retain full history. We just do minimal validations. And so schema changes does not drops. Like if something changes in the source, we just wanna just load as is. And bronze is like the silver, the single source of truth, which where we can rely back for any auditing or the repurposing. Whereas the silver is where we enforce quality and make data reliable for broader use. Um, and here is where we clean the data, we do duplicate and we typecast and we handle any nulls, any out of order data and normalize. And then the gold layer is where we deliver semantically meaningful performance optimized data sets for BIML. And we're gonna implement the business logic and dimensional design and publish just the shapes that the business need, whether it's like the customer spending, the performance of account, or any sales pipeline summary. Um, so that is what this layers about. And then I just want to address this here. So oftentimes there is a question about where do I need to implement, this Medallion architecture. If we go back into the fabric, at the live, I can also talk about this. There are people that think that we can implement or we can create lake house for each layer, and there are companies that just create one lake house and different folders within the lake house to have the bronze, silver, and gold layer. So it really depends upon I mean the expertise of your team, and and what is your business need. So that's gonna drive how many workspaces or how many different lake houses that you have to create for per lake. Here is a quick run through about the different tools. So the data flow Gen 2, which is like a low code on-ramp tool. It's perfect for like any files and APIs, parameterize the logic and incremental refresh. Where teams can easily use it to load the data. And then we have these notebooks in PySpark, where if I have to do any transformations that are heavier, if you have to do like any multi-table joins and fuzzy match dedupe, or any slowly changing dimensions, that's where you write the transformations within a notebook. So PySpark with the Delta gives you the merge, time travel, partitioning, and performance patterns that scale. But the if you're new to the fabric, start with simple in data flows and elevate to Spark when you hit a complexity or volume. So in both ways, this the the transformations will be done from bronze to silver and silver to gold. So you have to pick what tool that you have to use for your data transformation. And there is another thing, there is thing called pipelines. So pipelines, it actually sequences the activities, So how it works is like you run a data flow, then a notebook, then a SQL script, then refresh a semantic model. So it basically it does not replace the data flows or notebooks, but they run and they coordinate them. So your whole Medallion flow is reliable, repeatable, and observable. Some of the key takeaways for Medallion architecture is it gives clarity and trust, and it turns into practice on one lake. And the direct lake, which delivers speed without duplication, and with the purview and the consistent security, your data is ready for AI. Here is a quick use case that I looked up recently. There is a company called AP Pension, which is a customer-owned pension provider based in Denmark with over 100 years of service. The company, it basically focuses on responsible, sustainable investments while delivering the long-term value and financial security for its members. But they need a more agile and scalable data platform to meet evolving business demands. Some of the problems that they have is decades of fragmented business and investment data across siloed systems. And it also have like legacy infrastructure created technical debt, inconsistent access, and delayed reporting. So the analyst, whenever they want to create reports or dashboards, they have lacked a unified view, and that caused them slow time to insights and high compliance overhead. The approach they have done is they built a Medallion architecture in Microsoft Fabric, automated created creation of 40 plus workspaces and hundreds of shortcuts using Fabric APIs. They enabled a secure co-creation with functions, workspaces, lakehouses, warehouses, and semantic models. And they implemented a Power BI write back plus Fabric SQL DB for real-time governed data updates. This resulted in 70% reduction in manual data delivery steps via automation and shortcut governance. And there is a real-time access to curated data for the financial and investment teams. And they enabled secure and collaboration across roles with controlled workspace roles and anonymization at ingestion. And they delivered a translytical platform, which is both for transactional and analytical for write backs and analytics, improving responsiveness and regulatory compliance. So this positioned them for the future growth, like exploring Copilot AI, data quality, and data catalog for enhanced governance and productivity. So let's look at the Fabric. Can you all look at, yeah, I think you can see my Fabric screen. So if you're new to the Fabric, this is the Fabric home screen. So they created a new workspace that will enable you with pre-designed templates that's called a task flow. So within the task flow, you will be able to see the different capabilities or templates that you can use. And before we start any development, so we will create a new workspace. I'm going to just click that, and you can just add a name. But for my demo, I would like to use the shopping mart analysis analytics workspace that I created. So once I have the workspace, maybe in the demo medallion I can show. So once you have the workspace, not this one. So once you create a workspace and if you would like to add the pre-designed, the task flow. So you want to just select the Medallion architecture, okay, the Medallion. So let me just create so that maybe before we get into the demo, I can show. Yeah, I just name it demo. I created a demo workspace and I selected the pre-designed template called Medallion. So here you can see the different tasks within the Medallion flow, right? So the first one where you see is ingesting the data, whether it is a high volume ingest or whether it's a low volume index, you have two different items, that you can look at, for the data ingestion. And then we have the bronze data, which is for the processing of raw data in the original format in bronze layer. And as you can see, it is the task type is stored data, but you can change it to different task types, based off your need. And the next step, it actually gives you that flow, the data flow, where you can actually visualize and where you can see what is going to be my next step, So between the bronze and silver layer is where the initial process where you prepare the data, we transform the data for silver data layer. And once the data is in the silver layer, where you store the data, you can store it in the file format or you can store it in the Delta table format. And then you can further transform the data and prepare it for the gold layer. And once the data is in the gold layer, then it is ready for consumption, So you can actually create the data visualization, which is the Power BI reports, or you can serve it for machine learning, which is for further analysis and further trained data, So in the shopping mart analysis, so what I have done is like, I have a data ingest step here. So for the data ingest step, I have created two different pipelines. Let me quickly.
Rajesh, we cannot
Yeah,
hear you.
yes. Yeah. And I'm just trying to pull something else. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay.
Okay, that's good. There was a question in the chat in the meantime, if you want to answer it now, regarding the ETL process. If you can elaborate what is used.
Yeah. I'll take up the questions at the end if you don't mind. So basically what I want to show is like, I want to show the GitHub, that I have used as a source for my data ingestion process. So for the data ingestion, I basically created two pipelines. So how do you create a pipeline is that you just click the new item and here you can select the different items that you can use it for your processing. So you can select the notebook or you can select a event stream for real-time events or Spark or a data flow Gen 2 or pipeline or a copy job, if it's a simple one. So for my scenario, I created a pipeline and I named it as I named it as structured and unstructured because in my GitHub, I have two different folders. So one is for the structured data, where you can see the orders data, the customer data, and products data. And there is another folder, which is the unstructured data, where you see the JSON formats of reviews, the social media, and web blogs. Whereas the structured is more into the CSV files. So let's look at the structured data pipeline. So in the initial structured data pipeline, what I have done is like I can just create a copy data. I can just create a copy data activity here, and then I can give the source and destination values to load the data or to create the files to load the files in the bronze layer. But as you look at it, as you look in the GitHub, we have 6 files, so 3 CSVs and 3 JSONs. So that means I have to create 6 different copy data activities. And every time there is a change in the source, I have to go and I have to manually change or manually edit these activities. So instead, what I have done is I have created a copy data activity here, and this copy data activity, what it does is it basically goes to the GitHub, and then I have a JSON file that have the source URL for the structured folder with the CSV files, and it have the destination folder and destination file names. So this is for the three files. So how do you connect to or establish connection to a GitHub is, so if I go here and if I click, so it's taking time. So here you can choose the different sources for a given copy activity where you can select the different sources, right? So if I click view more, so these are all the different type of sources that where you can use for your data ingestion. So for the GitHub, what I have used is I have used HTTP, and I provided the URL for the connection, and I named the connection. So what I have done is, so I just click this one draw, and then here I just selected the first portion of it. I have taken this URL, and then I have given this URL here, and then yeah, it is basically showing that you already have a connection is what it's showing here. So the shopping data mart user one is what I created for this connection, and then I will be able to connect to it. So let me discard. And then the relative URL is the next portion of your file. So if I have a file, so the first portion of the file is the connection, and the relative URL is this portion. Here it is showing token because I set this folder as private. But I have used another folder that is set as public. So that is why here, if you see, it is not showing the actual token, it's just showing the reminder of the URL. And then what I have done is I created or I given the destination, of my file path, which is in this shopping mart bronze layer, and then I have created the file name. And the file that what I'm pulling from my GitHub is a JSON file, which is the structured metadata JSON file. So I'm using this file as a source to parameterize my data ingestion activity. So what this does is, so if I go here and into the bronze layer, so once that copy activity of metadata files is run, so it basically created a shopping mart source metadata, which you can see shopping mart source metadata folder. And then just for this structured, because we are at the structured pipeline, it is showing the structured file name, which is the structured file name here. And then similarly, I have a unstructured pipeline in the bronze layer. So that will help me to load the unstructured file here. So once I have these JSON files here, then what I have done is like I created a lookup shopping mart metadata structure file, which is a lookup job. So what it does is that once I have the structured file within this folder in the bronze layer, it basically goes to this the for each loop. Because I have three different files in the JSON file as a source, this need to run as a loop, and within the for each, I have another copy data activity where it is using the API as a source, and then I have parameterized here. So instead of giving the relative URL, which is the GitHub in my previous copy data activity for the metadata files, I basically created this parameter, and then I have used it. So how do you do the parameterizing is, yeah, So it basically helps you to pick the parameter. And here I'm saying it as the source URL. The source URL in my JSON folder. So this will basically pick up the source URL for all these 3 different files and load these files into the destination, which is the shopping mart bronze orders, and file uploaded will be this shopping mart orders. So that is for the source. And if you look at the destination is also parameterized. So here we are using sync folder. The sync folder is the destination here, shopping mart bronze orders. And then we have the sync file, which is the actual file, which is a shopping mart order CSV. And then I just added a delete data activity here, just so that if I have like any files that are I uploaded manually, I don't want those files to be there because I'm automating this process. So what this does is like this goes to this sync folder and look at the sync files, and it basically delete those files. And the other thing here, what you can do is like you can enable logging. So in a real world scenario, if I'm working at an organization level, my organization will have some storage accounts where any file that is deleted, maybe sometime accidentally deleted, it can land into a storage account so that the data engineers can go back and they can review and look at it and see if it is a test file, or if it is okay for this file to be deleted. So once the first process is I run this copy data activity job, and then where you can activate and deactivate these jobs. And once I run this one, then I'm gonna run these 2 jobs, and then this will enable me to have the 6 different folders as mentioned in the JSON file, and the files which are the CSV files for this customer order and products. And then we have reviews, social media log, and social media and web logs, which are the JSON files. Um, let me close this one workspace. Yeah. So for the data ingest, we covered the structured. So unstructured is also pretty similar to the structured one. I just changed the unstructured metadata file the source and destination, and that is the only change. But the other change are like just cosmetic changes, like where I change the name of those. So once we have this step completed, what I need to do is like I need to create a lake house for the bronze layer. So how you do it is like you come to the bronze data here, and you can choose different options, or different storage options. So for my access, I have selected the lake house. So that's why you see the lake house here. Sometimes you can only use workspace or a semantic model or a SQL database, whatever your need is, you can just select it. So now that my data is in a bronze layer, what I need to do is like I need to process my data, prepare for my data for the silver layer, right? For that, I have created a notebook. So for that, I created a notebook. So what this notebook does is like, it uses the files from the bronze layer as a source. And then there is a few things that I have done, like a data cleaning, like, where for the order data, I have made a change for the order data column. And then there are some null values. So I basically removed the null values or the null records from the data. And once the data cleaning and enrichment is done, I joined the customer and products with the orders, and then created a file called customer orders data file. So basically, this file it have all the data for the customers and the orders and the associated products that they have done. And then I'm writing the data into the silver layer here. So far, if you look at the first stage of the notebook, so for someone who haven't used or created a notebook before, basically how they can do is they can simply go to the bronze layer and they can say like new node. So you can create a new notebook here, and then you can give whatever name that is appropriate for your use case. And whether it's bronze to silver, you can name appropriately. And then you just write the code here. First import the PySpark SQL functions, and then create the data frames as a can hide here. I created the data frames, for the CSV files. You can see it's a different format that I have used. Whereas for the JSON files, we don't have to write the options for the load. We just use the JSON and the file, the source files format. So how do we get this path is that, so if I go to the bronze layer and if I select customers, it's gonna pan out like this. And then I basically copy the relative path for Spark. Because I'm using Spark, I'm gonna just copy the relative path for Spark, and I can just copy and paste here. So that's how you can get it. You don't have to manually type it. Um, and then one other thing that is important in this creation of notebook is that you actually have to run this notebook in the silver layer, because the data that you will be loading is in the silver layer. So you have to set the default lakehouse as silver layer for this notebook to be run. Initially, when you create this notebook, you just created the lake bronze layer, because at that time you don't create the silver layer. But then if you create the notebook and complete it, and then if you want to execute it, it will throw as an error saying that there is no silver layer here. Then you have to go back to your the Medallion pipeline and create a new item in the silver data, which is a silver layer, and then the run this notebook. So once you run this notebook, so what it will does is like it will yeah, once you create the silver layer, you basically have to create the shortcuts. So you have created I have created the shortcuts. So how you can so if you see here, for each folder there is a sign here that will show that it's a shortcut. So basically I'm pulling all these files from the bronze layer created as a shortcut, and then I have run my notebook here, which created 4 different folders that have the customer order metadata. And then here, if you see, my output is in Parquet format. So here I can create delta tables, and where I will be able to yeah, write the SQL queries using the SQL endpoints and can query the data. So this is where this is the output. So here I'm writing it as a Parquet format into the silver layer. But in the silver layer, yeah, I didn't create any tables. I was just using the files as a source. But then once the data is in the silver layer, let me go back to the workspace. Silver layer, I have another notebook that I created for the gold layer. So what basically this notebook helps is like this will help me to pull the data from the silver layer files, which is in the Parquet format. Then I created a few KPIs where I'm aggregating the weblog data to measure the engagement per user on each page and action, and then aggregate the unstructured social media data to track sentiment trends across different platforms, and aggregate product reviews to calculate the average rating per product. And whereas for the orders, I'm not doing any aggregations here. I'm simply loading the orders metadata from, orders data from the silver layer into the gold layer. So let's look at gold layer. So within the gold layer, I have these output from the notebook that we have here. Yeah, which is also in the Parquet format here. And then, yeah, once the output of the, yeah, here you can see the names, right? So here I am using the shortcuts in the gold layer. because without the shortcuts, I will not be able to pull the data into the gold layer, and I cannot use them for my data processing. So I have this data within the silver layer, in the gold layer, and then the output is showed in the gold layer files, So here what I have done is like I created the delta tables. So what I have done is like I want to create a semantic, I want to use a semantic model. And for the semantic model, I need to use the delta tables as the source. So how you do create a data model, the table is that you basically just select a file, and you can just select it and you can upload it, not upload, but maybe for this, yeah, there is to give an option here to create the delta table. So let's look at the silver here. Yeah, because I already created those delta tables within the gold layer, it was not showing me. But in the silver layer, I don't have any tables here. So basically what you do is like you select a file and you just click the load data and you click the new table. What it does is like it will ask you the table name, and you have to select the file format of the source file. So for me, I only loaded the I have the Parquet format as my output both in silver and gold layers. I mean from bronze and silver layers. So I'm going to use Parquet format, and then it will create a new table for me that I can use it for my querying. So going back to in the gold layer, now I created these 4 data tables. What I have done is like I went to the final step in the data visualization, and then I created a new report. So how do you do that is, let's go back to the gold layer.
Josh?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
No, that's okay. You have 15 minutes.
Okay.
I do recommend to stop for a second and check the questions because questions are coming when you present and not at the end. So just go over 2 questions, and as I said, I wanted to remind you, we have 15 minutes. Okay, so there was 2 questions basically. One for both of them are from Adam. One of them is what ETL process is being used in your project. You can see the question in the chat, and the second one is regarding the code. So please go over this in a short, if you may.
Yeah, sure. So basically, it is all about ELT, right? So when you talk about any cloud platform these days, it's more about extracting the data from the source systems and load the data into the target, which is a cloud platform, and then transform the data, right? So here, as I showed in the previous screen in the workspace, there are different data ingestion tools or items that you can select, right? So these are data pipelines that you can use it. That's what I used it. And then there are notebooks like if you want to use it for proper coding, or if you're hands-on coding. And there is the Data Lake Gen 2. So Data Lake Gen 2 is more about a Power Query, right? So it doesn't need much of querying. So where you can load the data from Excel files, where you can connect to a SQL Server database on your on-prem, or where you can connect to a table on the lakehouse, So it is more of people who are from the business side and who doesn't need of much coding experience. And similar, like pipeline is also a bit of lesser code, I can say. It's you just need to know about how you have to parameterize and create the variables, and then set those within the pipeline using some of the activity within the pipelines. And notebook is it, as I said, it's for like a heavy transformations,
That's
And,
great.
yeah, and then the other question I have is that don't you do proper data modeling? Yes, like I mean, in a real world scenario, what I do at my work is that we have a raw layer where we just don't do any data modeling; it's straight as is. And then the silver layer is where like we standardize the data, and that's where I have the different data domains. Like we have an account domain, we have a customer domain, and a transaction, and so forth. So that's where you create the data models to standardize your data. The data modeling is more about for the delta files, right? Or the delta tables, how you want to organize or how you want to name your columns. And that's where like we are standardizing some of the code types, where the gender code types or city code or state code, which is coming from different source systems. And then the gold layer is where like where we call it as a refined layer, where we create these star schemas, which are like the data marts, that will be used for your downstream reporting and analytics. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those questions. Yeah. So how do we create this report is that, so basically I go to the gold layer, and then there is an option for you to create a semantic model. Okay. So we just give some name for it, and you will be able to select all the tables. As I said, for the semantic model, we need to have the delta tables. We don't use the files as a source. So that's why it is allowing me to select the tables here. But I already have a semantic model that I created. So let me keep trying, but maybe I can create one more for this process, and then let's look at it. It's coming up. Okay. Perfect. So the semantic model, so if you look at our goal layer, we have four tables, and we didn't establish any relationship here, right? So what the semantic model helps us is to establish the relationship between the tables. So how we can do it is that we have a shopping mart gold orders table, which is more like a fact table. And then we have these dimension tables for like the social media reviews and the customer reviews and the weblog reviews, right? For the social media reviews, we don't have like any column that I can tie to my fact table, which is more of an independent table that I can use it for my reporting. Whereas for the other tables, what you do is like, in order to establish a relationship, so I have a product ID in the dimension, and I have a product ID in my fact. So I basically simply drag it, and I just drag it and drop it on the product table. And here it will show what is the source from what table it is coming and what is the target table. And you will be able to select a different cardinality type, and whether to see whether it's a bidirectional or single direction filter. So this is what I'm expecting. So I just basically save it as is. Boom. So here you see a relationship saying that so we have one product in these gold reviews, and it can have like 1 to many records in the fact table. And likewise, I have a user ID here, and I'm gonna take this user ID, and I'm gonna drop it on the customer ID. Same, looks good. Boom. So this is good. And then I have a order date, and I don't have like any date fields, or date tables in my source. So basically what it does is like I come here and I basically say like new table. Let me new table, and then I have a query here, and then I just commit it. So basically it will help me with the date table, date dimension. And I just take this date field and drop it on the order date. Now that we have a date dimension as well. So once we have this, then we can basically save this semantic model, or what we can do is that we can use it to create a new report. Yep. So there you can see where you have all the required fields that you need, and you will be able to create a report that what you can use it for, right? For any of the business. So I can just use code. Yeah, I already have a report that I have. Even I'm working on it. So maybe if I can go to it, not the go layer. Yeah, just let me select. Just loading up the report. Yeah. So these are some of the visuals that I'm trying to create with the data that we have, So we have the total sales and the total products sold from the gold layer report, and I'm trying to create visuals like what are the top 5 products by sales, the chairs are the top 5 products, and you can see who are the top 5 customers that have spent, and I can create the sort by some of and then it will show like Dustin Gill is the one who have the total sales, and working on top 5 products by reviews, and some other different analysis and dashboards that we can create, So this is one report, and I haven't had a chance to work on any of the ML use cases, but maybe in the future I'd be able to show a real-time data stream and our event stream, and how it can be implemented in the Medallion architecture, and how it can be fed into the ML pipeline, So how you can do is like the other day I was looking, and there is an option. Yeah, so there is an event medallion. So it's a similar fashion. Refresh. It did not. Okay, with the interest of time, I'll stop it here, and I'll wait for any questions.
It's a great session. We have a few comments. Actually, we had a very active discussion during the meeting, which is great. Let me change the setting and allow everyone to open camera and microphone if they want as well. It will take me just a second. A few more options. Actually, what I will do, okay, fine. Let's change the option. Okay, microphone allow, camera allow, apply. Awesome. Okay, great comment, by the way. Yeah, Power BI, everyone loves. Is there any question that you want to present? You can speak, you can open your microphone now.
Well, I did put a couple questions in the chat there. First off, something that would be really helpful. Has anyone created a sample DB in Medallion format that we can use, like we use at VentureWorks?
Oh, this is a great question. It's not my expertise, so anyone here know about this?
I mean, there is, if you look at the Microsoft Learning, there is a, I'm going to post that link here. There is some sample files that you can use, which have some sales data for 3 years, and how you can create the bronze, silver, and gold layers, you know, by yourself.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that question of the ETL, and I'm not sure I heard that answered.
Which one? I mean,
what ETL process is being used to move the data and transform the data?
Yeah, I have used the pipelines, and then I have used Spark notebooks to transform the data.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of my league is I'm not a programmer.
Yeah.
So I would fall back to a more traditional ETL format, or let my developers lead that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I really want to thank our speaker, Rajesh Vayyala, for such a great session. We will publish the recording. You can go over it again. And of course, thanks all of you for joining us today. I remind you to register to the next week's meeting. You have the link in the chat. You can just use our website in order to check what are all the upcoming events. And you can follow me on social media to get the fastest update information regarding the community and the recording of the meetings. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. And if there are more questions, we can continue this for a few more minutes.
And we will be getting a copy of the deck, right?
I will ask the speaker
Great.
to send.
Wonderful.
And then we up for the community exactly for this, and we will upload it there. Again, once the recording will be ready, usually I do it as a comment to the message about the recording and the link to the YouTube recording. I will add a link to the GitHub to download everything. Okay, so Rajesh, just send me everything that you want to share with the community. Basically, it's the PowerPoint. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Great session.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We will see you all next week. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Wonderful session. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Great session, Rajesh. I will speak with you on LinkedIn. Have a great day. Bye-bye all. I will stop the meeting.